Thank you, Ellie, for your talk about rebirth. So my husband's mother, who definitely had no contact with any religion that believed in reincarnation or rebirth. I think she was Baptist, and then she converted to Catholicism in New Orleans. And when her husband died, and I remember there was a fly that was buzzing around, and she said, "Go away, Peter, go away. You don't want to be a fly." Yeah, so Ellie was wondering if I might say some more about this, and I would like to. You know, we have this idea of ourselves as a thing, this kind of essence. There's some kind of essence that's indivisible. And this essence, what happens to this essence? So does this essence, you know, in Christianity, the essence goes up to heaven, or it goes down to hell, or maybe it hangs around in purgatory before it goes up to heaven. And then in Asian religions, both South Asian and East Asian religions, there's this notion of rebirth. So this essence kind of, you know, like Stan's mom is saying, you don't want to be a fly, Peter, you know, that kind of thing, or your mom thinking that her nephew, who died so tragically, so young, had become a bird, and this bird is visiting. So, you know, if you think about it, that was not possible because there wasn't enough time, you know, to go into an egg and then hatch and then all that stuff. But yeah, so there's this notion of this kind of indivisible essence, which is very kind of wispy, you know, like a cloud or something, and descends, you know, into women's wombs or hens' eggs or, you know, whatever. But the real question in Buddhism that it's important to understand is not whether we are reborn. Buddha didn't talk about that stuff. But what is it? If we are reborn, what is being reborn? And this is this question, what am I? What am I is not just what am I? What am I means, what is it to be a being? So it's also the same question as what is this? So what am I? What is this? What is reborn? So this is the question. It's not, are we reborn or not reborn? Or do we go to heaven or hell or whatever? What is it? What is it that would be reborn? What is it that would go to heaven? What is it that would go to hell? Or purgatory, if you want to be medieval Catholic about it. You know, there are many theories. Many cultures have many different ideas about what happens after we die. And Ali was talking about the sky burial, you know, where in Tibet you can't dig into the ground most of the year because it's cold. You can't dig into the ground. You can't bury people the way one usually does. I don't know why they don't cremate them, which is what many cultures do, but instead they chop the bodies up and they put it in a special place, and the vultures come, and maybe other birds too, but these, you know, large birds will come and they will, you know, eat the body, clean the body, and then all you have left are bones. So yeah, that's so in that sense, dead people, as you pointed out, dead people become birds. If you bury people, they become maggots and, you know, everything like that. But that's not what we mean when we talk about rebirth. But the real question is, what is there to be reborn? You don't have to worry about whether you're reborn or not. The question is, what is it? What are we? That's the question. That's the really important question. And there are no words for the response. Just practice. What am I? What am I? And you don't Think, not what am I? Okay, my job is this, my relationships are that, I either do or don't have kids, this is how old I am, this is how tall I am, this is how much I weigh, this is the color of my hair. No, that's not what am I is. What am I is not, I am a child of God. That's not what am I. If you have an answer, that can be put in words, you can say, this is what I am, that is not correct. It's before speech. It's before thinking. Just, what is this? And that's one of the practices we use. It's not the only meditation practice we have. But whatever your meditation practice is, this question, this great question, what am I? Let it come up. Look at it. Just look at it. Put it down. You can use it as a meditation practice, or you can simply every now and then look at it. Every time you think you know how things are and who you are and what your place is in this world and what everybody owes you, you never think about what you owe everybody. It's always what everybody owes you, what you deserve, in a good sense. I want more money. I want a nice house, whatever it is, better job. Whatever that is, just look at it and see how false it is. Yesterday I was not at practice because I was at the Jewish Center for Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is this amazing holiday. You fast for about 26 hours with no food, no liquid. It's a strict fast, just like Ramadan, except Ramadan goes on for a month, but it's only from sun up to sundown. Then you can eat, and people do, because you have to, if you're going to do it for 30 days or whatever it is. But this is just 26 hours. It's from sundown to sundown. So that day is very long. And there's this wonderful chant that we do, which Leonard Cohen has a version of it. Actually, some of the words are taken directly from the prayer, Who by Fire, where he lists all the ways you can die. Who by fire, who by water, etc. And every Yom Kippur I put it up on my Facebook page. And the point of that is, it starts off saying, basically, we have no control. We think we have control, but we actually have no control in our lives. The other day I was crossing the street to see this weird little sign that someone put up at the school. The neighborhood group had put it up to say how many cars went through the neighborhood and that the fastest speed in the neighborhood is 51 miles per hour. And I tripped and I fell and I got a concussion and I have this Band-Aid, I had no idea that was going to happen, right? I'm just walking across the street and there was a slick spot. I'm real good at finding the slick spots. And I fell down and this was very badly damaged. My water bottle, I had to throw it out because it was so badly dented. We're not in control. You never know when these things are going to happen. On the retreat, I went home to retrieve my thyroid medicine because I'd forgotten it. And as 1 block from my house, I'm entering the intersection at a reasonable speed. Maybe slightly fast, maybe a mile or two over the speed limit, but nothing bad. And this car ran a stop sign. Boom, my car hit it, and it flipped him over. Because I'm a Toyota Prius, and he was a van which has a high center of gravity. And apparently, Toyota Priuses are known for knocking over, vans and pickup trucks and things like that. It's still in the shop, And what control did I have? Out of nowhere, my car, just like the front end of the car is just in the intersection, woof, this car appears. And, so we have no control. We have sort of limited, partial control, like I could make myself not eat on Yom Kippur. Because of the concussion, I was told I had to drink liquid. I felt very bad about that, but I appreciated it. And yeah, so we think we have control, but ultimately we don't. I mean, you can just ask the people in Gaza, and you can ask the people in the West Bank, and you can ask the people in Sudan. You can even ask the people living in northern Israel. They will tell you, we don't have control. We think we do, but we don't. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, you are going to die. It's right there. You're going to by, by fire, by water, by strangling, by animals. I don't know what the list is. It's pretty long, And so you're going to die. A, you have no control. B, you're going to die. And then C is, be good. And then D is the fasting, both the liquid and the food. And I have friends who cannot fast for health reasons, and they're missing something. I mean, to have that experience of not being controlled by your desire, by your very basic desires. I'm thirsty and I'm hungry. It's about as basic as you can get, and also I'm sleepy. On retreats, you get to deal with I'm sleepy. So you don't have to fast because you have that one. I'm sleepy and you're not allowed to sleep, right? But to have that experience of having basic desires that you are choosing not to meet, and that they are not controlling you. Usually we are controlled by these very basic desires. We're all relatively wealthy. Even if you're on welfare, you're relatively related to the planet, wealthy. I think probably everyone in this room, if you're hungry, you can open your pantry or open your refrigerator and grab something. Might just be a cracker, but there's probably something in there. Almost everybody is like that in, our sort of society. And that if I want it, I can grab it. To not do that, to not grab something that you even think you need, and just say, no, not today, not right now. And then, those things that control us all the time, they can control us less, because we have the experience of not being controlled by them. So that's where you're taught with me. So thank you. I was looking for an excuse to say that, and I managed to do that. Okay, so let's see. Are there any questions? Yes. Oh, Buddhist, but you always have such wonderful basic questions. So what Evelyn was asking was, what's the thing on the top of the Buddha's head? And if I move to this, if I move to the side, you can see that there's like a sort of topknot. That is the Buddha's third eye about to explode. No, yeah, it kind of is. It's sort of this power spot. And it's not that he has this curly hair, those are snails that are protecting him from the heat. So that's the iconography there. Yeah, and sometimes you'll see paintings where there's actually like stuff coming out of there, like steam. Oh, it is? Is it coming out? Oh, in the painting it is. Yeah, not the statue, but the painting. Yeah, so the painting, thank you. I can't see the painting very clearly on the screen, it's too small. Yeah, so you can see that. So yeah, it's kind of this power thing. And yeah, also between the eyebrows is a power thing. So you'll read in some of the sutras that certain bodhisattvas sort of arise from the, rays coming out from some Buddha, usually not Shakyamuni. One of the Buddhas, so rays will come out of their eyes, and then suddenly, boom, a bodhisattva appears. So yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
In some traditions, that it's supposed to represent that the Buddha's enlightenment, or the essence of the Buddha is infinitely high. It's never supposed to.
Okay, so let me repeat what you said. So in some traditions, what it represents is that the Buddha his awakening is unlimited, infinitely high. Yeah. Many stories we can tell. many stories we can tell. Right? Yes.
So if you don't let desire motivate you and succumb to desire.
So if you don't let desire motivate
then
you.
what motivates motivates your actions?
Then what motivates your actions? How can I help?
Like if you have a desire to eat, but you don't succumb to the desire to eat, well then what motivates us to eat?
How can I help?
I don't understand.
So for whom are you eating? Are you eating for your own satisfaction? Or are you eating so that you can function in this world? So as much as possible, I mean, yeah, I go to restaurants and I order the food I like and I don't order the food I don't like. And my teacher, Zen Master Sung, he loved to go to like sort of kind of diner type places and have a big thing of like eggs and potatoes. No meat, of course, right? But eggs and potatoes and, toast and butter and stuff like that. He loved that kind of food. But why do we do everything in our lives? So it's not like a conscious thing, like, oh, I am doing this because I'm such a good person and I want to help everybody. That's not it. But as you practice, what happens is you're no longer living behind this wall of self. One of the temple rules is if you break the wall of self, you become infinite in time and space. What that means is letting the world in, realizing you're not separate from this world. Then your actions are not dominated by selfish desire. And a selfish desire is also, I want to be a good person, that's also a selfish desire. But then, as much as possible, everything becomes functional. How do you function in this world? So, why do you eat every day? Well, you eat every day because if you don't ever eat every day, you can't function very well. You can't do what needs to be done. So that's why you eat, that's why you breathe. That's why you drink, as in water, not as in alcohol. I mean, yeah, you can have a drink every now and then, but drinking to produce heedlessness, that's a really bad thing to do. Because then you can't help. When you're heedless, you're useless. You can't help anybody. So yeah. So thank you for your question. Yeah, we have these, our culture defines self in such a restrictive way. And then we have these questions like, well, if you don't desire anything, then why would you do anything? Well, because the world is here and you're part of it. It has nothing to do with your desires. Here's this world. What are you going to do? You have a function to play. It's like, your fingers. Your thumb does one thing, your little finger does something else. They don't do the same thing. So there you are. JC has JC's job, right? Allie has Allie's job. They're different jobs. So how do you do it? That's the question. So thank you for your question. Yeah. So we're just about out of time, but I do want to say something about posture, because I was looking around the room and everybody, not everybody, and I include myself in the not everybody has really great posture. What I want everyone to do is I want you to slump as bad as you can. Just put your head down. And you notice the tension that you have there? You notice that tension? Now everyone sit up. So that's why you don't want to sit like that, okay? Also, you don't want to sit with your shoulders really tense. You want them relaxed. You want, if you can find your sit bones kind of wriggle around a little bit, find your sit bones, and you'll see there's sort of things that kind of, you can really like sort of feel them, they're supporting you. So you have your sit bones, you don't make your back tense, but you have that S curve in your back. If you put your hand behind your back like that and sort of push slightly forward and you can feel that S curve is there. And then with that S curve, and then you balance, the reason we poke drop the chin a little bit is because when you drop the chin, then that balances the head correctly on the spine. If we're like this, it doesn't work. If we're like this, it definitely doesn't work. So you want that, you tuck the chin, your mouth The roof of your mouth should be parallel to the floor. People sometimes think, I know I used to think that your jaw should be parallel to the floor, but no, it's the roof of your mouth should be parallel to the floor. If you think of the way the skull is, the jaw is this thing that flaps, but the roof of your mouth is what's attached to the skull. So you want the roof of your mouth parallel to the floor. And I know I'm constantly finding myself like that, oops, doing that. I encourage people to really, work on their posture. Sometimes on retreats, somebody might come around and if someone's slumping too much, take that big stick back there and use it to straighten the posture. So they'll put it behind you, and it's a flat stick. So you'll just put the back of your head, the middle of your shoulders, and the bottom of your spine should kind of all touch. If those 3 points touch, then you're sitting correctly. So you can imagine that someone has this big flat stick that's against you, and it's the back of your head, the middle of your shoulders, and the base of your spine are pressed against that stick. And then that's something you can sustain. If you're not in a stable posture, you can't sustain it. And then you can actually cause damage to yourself. You can actually, not just that your muscles hurt, but you can actually cause problems later if you do it too much. So I really encourage people to pay attention to posture. We don't talk about posture very often, but we should, because it's really important. So that's the end. Thank you very much.